Listen, everybody wants a slice of the California dream, sun, surf, and the open road, right? But that dream depends on one thing, a California driver's license. Without it, you're stuck hitchhiking, and let's be honest, nobody wants to be that guy. We're talking about freedom, independence, the ability to hop in your car and go wherever you want, whenever you want. Beach day, no problem. Weekend trip to Big Sur, let's do it. But before you can feel the wind in your hair and the California sun on your face, you gotta pass one hurdle, the California DMV driving test. Look, a driver's license in California isn't just a piece of plastic, it's a symbol. It says you're responsible, that you understand the rules of the road, and that you're ready to join the millions of other drivers sharing California's highways and byways. It's a privilege, not a right. Earning that privilege takes work, dedication, and a whole lot of practice. Think about it. When you hand someone your California driver's license, they're not just seeing your picture. They're seeing a driver who knows what they're doing. They're seeing someone who's taken the time to learn the rules, respect the road, and understand that driving is a serious responsibility. That little card carries a lot of weight, and it all starts with acing that DMV test. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the California DMV test can be a little intimidating. There's a lot to remember, from road signs to driving laws to safe driving practices. But don't worry, we're here to break it all down for you, step by step. The California DMV test is divided into two parts, the written knowledge test and the behind-the-wheel driving test. The written test is your first hurdle. You'll answer multiple choice questions about California's traffic laws, road signs, and safe driving practices. It's all about making sure you've got the knowledge to be a safe and responsible driver. Then comes the real deal, the behind-the-wheel driving test. This is where you get to show off your skills. A DMV examiner will ride along with you, evaluating your ability to control the vehicle, follow traffic laws, and navigate different driving situations. They'll be watching how well you obey traffic signals, make turns, merge lanes, and handle yourself in different traffic conditions. Don't sweat it though. We're going to cover everything you need to know to ace both parts of the test. We'll go over common road signs, break down confusing driving laws, and give you the tips and tricks you need to impress that DMV examiner. All right, let's talk road signs. Think of them like the language of the road. They're there to tell you what's up, what to expect, and how to stay safe. Ignore them, and you're in for a world of trouble. We're talking tickets, accidents, the whole 9 yards. Nobody wants that. So we're gonna break it down, make it easy to understand. Road signs come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, each with a specific meaning. You got your reds, your yellows, your greens, your blues, even your browns. Some are words, some are symbols, some are both. But they all serve one purpose, to keep traffic flowing smoothly and safely. You gotta be able to read these signs like a pro, understand what they're telling you, and react accordingly. This ain't the time to guess or hope for the best. We're talking about your safety and the safety of everyone else on the road. Section 2, stop signs and yield signs, knowing when to pump the brakes. Let's start with the basics, stop signs and yield signs. These bad boys are everywhere and they mean business. A stop sign means just that, come to a complete stop. No rolling through, no slowing down a little bit. You gotta put your foot on the brake and come to a dead stop. Look left, right, and left again to make sure the coast is clear. Once it's safe, you can proceed. Now, a yield sign is a little different. It means you gotta slow down and be ready to stop if there's traffic coming from another direction. Think of it like this, you're giving the other guy the right of way. If there's a car coming, let him pass before you go. If there's no traffic, you can keep on trucking. Simple, right? But you'd be surprised how many people mess this up. Remember, these signs are there for a reason, to prevent accidents. Section 3, speed limits. Finding your pace on the California asphalt. Now let's talk speed limits. You'll see these signs everywhere, telling you the maximum speed you can legally drive on a particular road. They're usually white with black numbers, and they ain't suggestions, folks. They're the law. Go too fast and you're risking a ticket or worse, an accident. Remember, speed limits are set for a reason. They take into account things like the road conditions, the amount of traffic, and the surrounding environment. For example, you're going to see lower speed limits in residential areas where kids might be playing or in school zones when school's in session. On highways, speed limits are generally higher, but you gotta use your judgment. If the weather's bad, there's heavy traffic, or you're driving at night, you might need to slow down even if you're below the posted speed limit. Remember, safety first, always. Section 4. Warning signs. Your eyes and ears on the road ahead. Warning signs are your buddies on the road. They're there to give you a heads up about potential hazards up ahead so you can be prepared. They usually come in yellow or orange, and they often have symbols instead of words so you can understand them at a glance. You got your sharp curve signs, your slippery when wet signs, your railroad crossing signs, you name it. These signs are telling you to pay attention, slow down, and be ready for anything. For example, a sharp curve sign means just that. There's a sharp curve coming up, so slow down and be prepared to turn. A slippery, when wet sign means the road ahead might be slick if it's raining, so ease up on the gas and be careful not to lose control. And a railroad crossing sign? Well, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Slow down, look both ways, and listen for a train before you cross the tracks. Better safe than sorry, right? Section 5. Construction and detour signs. Navigating the road less traveled. Finally, let's talk about construction and detour signs. These orange beauties pop up when there's construction or road work going on, and they're there to guide you around the mess. You got your lane closure signs, your detour signs, your flagger ahead signs, the whole shebang. These signs can be a little confusing, especially if you're not familiar with the area. But don't panic, just take a deep breath, slow down, and follow the signs carefully. They'll lead you to your destination, even if it's not the route you're used to. Remember, construction zones can be unpredictable, so stay alert and be prepared for anything. Workers might be present, traffic patterns might change, and there might be lane closures or detours in place. So keep your eyes peeled, your hands on the wheel, and your mind on the road. And whatever you do, don't be that guy who ignores the signs and ends up driving into a ditch or worse, causing an accident. Nobody wants to be that guy. Section 1. California driving laws, the ground rules. All right, we've tackled road signs, the language of the road. Now, let's dive into California's driving laws, the rules that keep everything running smoothly, or at least try to, on those golden roads. These laws ain't suggestions, folks, they're the real deal. And they're here to protect you and everyone else sharing the asphalt jungle. Ignore them, and you're not just risking a ticket, you're messing with people's lives. First things first, California is a fault state when it comes to car accidents. That means if you're in a fender bender and you're found at fault, you're on the hook for the damages. So drive defensively, stay alert, and don't give them a reason to point the finger at you. We're talking about seatbelt laws, folks. California law says everyone in the vehicle, front seat and back seat, gotta be buckled up. No exceptions. Kids under 8 gotta be in a car seat or booster seat, depending on their height and weight. Section 2, right-of-way, sharing the road like a pro. Let's talk right-of-way. This is a big one, folks, and it causes a lot of confusion, even among experienced drivers. The basic rule of thumb is simple. The person who gets there first has the right-of-way. But there are exceptions, and you gotta know them like the back of your hand. At a four-way stop, for example, the first car to arrive at the intersection gets to go first. If 2 cars arrive at the same time, the car on the right has the right-of-way. Now, when you're turning left at an intersection, things get a little trickier. You gotta yield to oncoming traffic, even if you have a green light. And if you're turning right on red, you gotta come to a complete stop, yield to pedestrians and traffic, and then proceed only when it's safe. Remember, folks, yielding is not the same as stopping. When you yield, you're basically saying, after you. You're giving the other vehicle or pedestrian the right of way, and never assume other drivers will yield to you, even if they're supposed to. Section 3. Traffic signals and road markings, decoding the asphalt jungle. Traffic signals and road markings, they're the silent language of the road. You gotta be able to read them like a pro if you want to navigate California's roads safely. We've all seen them, red, yellow, and green. Red means stop, yellow means slow down and prepare to stop, not speed up. And green means go, but only when it's safe. Simple, right? Well, there's a little more to it than that. For example, a flashing red light means the same thing as a stop sign. Come to a complete stop, look both ways, and proceed only when it's safe. And a flashing yellow light means proceed with caution, slowing down and being prepared to stop if necessary. Now let's talk about road markings. Those white and yellow lines painted on the asphalt ain't just for decoration. They're there to guide you, to separate lanes of traffic, and to indicate where you can and can't drive. Solid white lines separate lanes of traffic moving in the same direction. You shouldn't cross them unless you're making a lane change and it's safe to do so. Section 4. Special situations navigating roundabouts, hills, and more. Let's talk about some special situations you might encounter on the California roads. First up, roundabouts. These circular intersections can be a little intimidating if you've never driven through one before, but they're actually pretty straightforward. The key thing to remember is that traffic in a roundabout always flows in one direction, counterclockwise. When you enter a roundabout, yield to traffic already in the circle and then merge into the appropriate lane. Next up, hills. California's got its fair share of hills and mountains, so you gotta know how to handle them safely. When you're driving uphill, be prepared to accelerate to maintain your speed. And when you're driving downhill, ease up on the gas and use your brakes to control your speed. Don't ride your brakes though, or they might overheat. Instead, use engine braking by shifting into a lower gear. And finally, let's talk about emergencies. Section 5, parking in the Golden State. Parallel parking driveways and more. All right, let's talk parking. It's the bane of many a driver's existence, especially in crowded California cities. But don't worry, we're gonna break it down, make it as painless as possible. First up, the dreaded parallel parking. It's the maneuver that strikes fear into the hearts of even the most experienced drivers. But with a little practice, anyone can master it. The key is to find a spot that's big enough for your car, line up your vehicle correctly, and then use a combination of steering and reversing to ease into the space. Remember to check your mirrors and blind spots before you start the maneuver, and to use your turn signal to let other drivers know what you're doing. Next, let's talk about driveways. When you're parking in a driveway, make sure you're not blocking the sidewalk or the street. And if you're parking on a hill, make sure you turn your wheels in the right direction to prevent your car from rolling away. If you're facing uphill, turn your wheels away from the curb. If you're facing downhill, turn your wheels towards the curb. Section 1. Safe driving practices. More than just acing the test. Listen, we've covered a lot of ground here. Road signs, driving laws, the whole 9 yards. But here's the thing. Safe driving is more than just memorizing a bunch of rules. It's about developing good habits, staying alert, and being aware of your surroundings. Think of it like this. You're not just driving a car, you're piloting a 2-ton machine with the potential to cause serious damage. Respect the responsibility that comes with that. First things first, always wear your seatbelt. I know, you've heard it a million times, but it's the law for a reason. Seatbelts save lives, plain and simple. And put the phone down. No texting, no scrolling, no checking your social media while you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is just as dangerous as drunk driving, so keep your eyes on the road and your mind on the task at hand. Section 2. Defensive driving, your secret weapon on California roads. Now, let's talk defensive driving. It's not about being a wimp on the road, it's about being proactive and anticipating potential hazards. Remember, you can't control what other drivers do, but you can control how you react. Keep a safe following distance between your car and the car in front of you. The rule of thumb is 3 seconds. Pick a fixed object ahead, like a sign or a tree, and when the car in front of you passes it, start counting. You should reach that object no sooner than 3 seconds later. This gives you enough time to react if the car in front of you slams on the brakes, and check your mirrors regularly. Know what's going on around you, not just in front of you. Be aware of cars in your blind spots and always signal your intentions, whether you're changing lanes, turning, or pulling over. Section 3. Handling emergencies. keeping your cool under pressure. Emergencies happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. And when they do, you gotta know how to handle yourself. First things first, stay calm. Panicking won't help anyone. If you can, pull over to a safe location away from traffic. If you can't move your vehicle, turn on your hazard lights and wait for help to arrive. If you're involved in an accident, check yourself and your passengers for injuries. Call 911 immediately to report the accident and any injuries. Exchange information with the other drivers involved, including your name, address, phone number, and insurance information. And if you witness an accident or see someone who needs help, pull over if it's safe to do so and offer assistance. You never know when you might be the one who needs a helping hand. Section 4. Sharing the road from pedestrians to cyclists. California roads ain't just for cars, folks. We're sharing the asphalt with pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists, and even the occasional horse-drawn carriage. And it's our responsibility to share the road safely. When you're approaching a crosswalk, slow down and be prepared to stop for pedestrians. Remember, pedestrians have the right of way, even if they're not crossing at a crosswalk. Give cyclists plenty of space and never try to squeeze past them if there's not enough room. And be especially careful around large trucks and buses. They have bigger blind spots than cars, so make sure you can see the driver in their mirror before you pass them. Section 5. Tips from the trenches. Passing your driving test with flying colors. All right, you've put in the work, studied the rules, and practiced your skills. Now, it's time for the moment of truth. The California DMV driving test. Here are a few tips from the trenches to help you ace that test and hit the road with confidence. First things first, relax. Easier said than done, right? But the more relaxed you are, the better you'll drive. Take a deep breath, trust in your preparation, and remember that the DMV examiner is just there to make sure you're a safe and responsible driver. Next, listen carefully to the examiner's instructions. They'll tell you what to do and where to go. If you're not sure about something, don't be afraid to ask for clarification. And finally, be confident. You've got this. Section 1. The open road awaits. We've covered a lot of ground here, from road signs to right-of-way rules to the art of parallel parking. You've learned about defensive driving, handling emergencies, and sharing the road with all sorts of folks, from cyclists to pedestrians to those big rigs hauling cargo across the state. Now it's time to put that knowledge to the test. Remember that California driver's license? It's within your reach. One last push, one last hurdle, and then you're holding the keys to your freedom, your independence, your own California dream. Think about it. Cruising down Highway 1 with the Pacific Ocean on one side, the Santa Lucia Mountains on the other, the wind in your hair, the sun on your face, the open road stretching out before you. That's the power of a California driver's license. Section 2. Your California driving adventure starts now. But here's the thing about driving. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about the journey, the experience, the freedom to explore this amazing state at your own pace. It's about road trips with friends, weekend getaways with family, and solo adventures that take you to unexpected places. It's about discovering hidden beaches, charming towns, and breathtaking vistas that will leave you speechless. And it all starts with acing that DMV test. So study hard, practice safe driving habits, and get ready to experience California like never before. Remember, that driver's license is more than just a piece of plastic. It's a symbol of your hard work, your responsibility, and your readiness to join the millions of Californians who enjoy the freedom of the open road. Section 3. Drive safe, drive smart, drive California. As you hit the road, keep in mind that driving is a privilege, not a right. It's a responsibility that comes with a whole lot of freedom, but also a lot of potential risks. So, always drive defensively, stay alert, and never take your safety or the safety of others for granted. Remember those safe driving practices we talked about? Make them second nature. Buckle up every time you get behind the wheel. Put the phone down and focus on the road. Maintain a safe following distance. Check your mirrors regularly. And never ever drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Drive safe, drive smart, and drive California. The open road awaits. Good luck on your driving test, and I'll see you out there on the California asphalt.